Today is Wednesday, February 5th. Hello, I'm Carly Banks. Thanks for joining us for Good Morning Texoma at 6:30. Winter weather already hitting Texoma and expected to last all through tomorrow. Meteorologist Alana Cameron is here with more on what we can expect.
Thank you, Carly. Well, we're still tracking that winter weather. Right now, we are seeing a lot of rain across Texoma, so a little bit longer than anticipated. Those above freezing temperatures are holding on. This is going to be, an evolving forecast throughout the rest of the morning. So you'll have to keep tuning in for the latest updates. They've changed since last night, and we're holding on to rain a little bit longer this morning. You can see outside on our Sherman Chevrolet and Cadillac Tower Cam, temperatures, they're feeling chilly outside. We feel like the 20s, those actual temperatures at 34 degrees. Northwesterly winds is going to keep things feeling cold, but we are above freezing for most of Texoma. So it's good news for those not wanting snow, but if you woke up wondering where the snow is, it's mostly west of us where temperatures at the surface are below freezing, so we don't have any melting as that snow comes down to the surface. So we'll take a closer look at where a lot of the activity is happening right now. So west of 35 is where we're seeing snow. We've had accumulations in Waurika all the way through in towards the Henrietta region, but I-35 just dealing with a little bit of a wet mess for us. It's just rain right now. We still could see some of those bridges and overpass very well freeze over, especially if not a lot of cars drive over that area. It'll be easier for those roads to ice. But all of our below freezing temperatures are through Atoka, Ada, Pauls Valley, Ardmore. You're at 33, so you're right on that border line where you could see that transition. So that's a forecast area that you'll have to watch out for. Durant, Sherman Denison seem to be in pretty good shape, just dealing with rain on the roads this morning, but lots of school closures. Go to k10.com/closings for updates on whether or not your school has been closed. So for winter driving tips, if you have to be out on the roads today, here's a few tips before you head out on the roads. If you've seen snowfall accumulations on your car, make sure you clean it off. Any kind of snow on your vehicle could provide a hazard for any cars behind you if that does fall off. Make sure you're reducing your speed, and if you do find yourself on an icy patch of the roadways, make sure that you allow your wheel to just kind of steer in the direction that it's already going. Don't try to jerk in the other direction. That's what causes those accidents. We want to avoid accidents throughout the rest of the morning, and with winter weather advisories in effect, just make sure that you're giving yourself lots of extra time to get where you need to go. If not, enjoy a cozy day inside because temperatures are just going to continue to cool off throughout the rest of the day. Our snow band west of us through 8 a.m. you can see as early as mid-morning. That's when it likely starts to move towards the I-35 corridor. This all depends on whether or not temperatures bump above freezing or below freezing. Right now, we're looking at temperatures above freezing for most of us, but there still is opportunity well into the afternoon hours. It's going to be a day-long event where we could see rapid changes in the forecast throughout the rest of your Wednesday, so be patient with the forecast today. Our winter weather advisories, our winter storm watches go until 6 p.m. tonight, and your 70 forecast temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be pretty chilly, 22 degrees. Before we get to tomorrow morning, Jackson Boland is out live in the field in Ardmore tracking your Wednesday morning commute. I'll send it to you, Jackson.
So, Alana, things have changed a little bit here in the past half hour. It's gone from a constant rain to more of that sleet, freezing rain mix. Just walking around where I'm at right now, we're starting to see like a lot more accumulation of that mush and ice type thing going on. So if you're planning to be out and about today, definitely take it slow. I would advise maybe just taking it easy, taking a day off and staying inside because it does look like we are starting to see some ice freeze over in parking lots and some lesser used roads around Ardmore, and it looks like it could get worse as the temperature starts to drop here around Carter County. But again, right now we are starting to see that freezing rain and sleet more so than just regular rain, and it is starting to accumulate a lot more, so be wary of that again if you're going to be out and about this morning. Live in Ardmore, Jackson Boland, K10 News.
All right, thank you, Jackson and Alana. And now we have Lieutenant Scott Hampton on the line with Oklahoma Highway Patrol. He's actually in McAllister right now. He's been out on the roads all night long. What are we seeing right now, Lieutenant Hampton?
Right now, it is getting a little worse as time goes on. Over the night, we responded to 2 collisions along I-35, one in Love County, one in Garvin County. And currently, we are responding to 2 vehicles that have slid off the road up in the Garvin and northern Carter County area. As far as far north up this way, I-40 is getting pretty bad in certain areas. We have 2 CMV incidents that we're working, but the Durant, Atoka, Cole area, we're not having anything reported, and everything is going good.
You absolutely have to be out on the roads this morning. What are some tips for drivers?
One of the main things is as you come up on elevated surfaces, don't hit your brakes while you're on those, and if you can avoid it. And as you approach that, just let off the accelerator and kind of coast across. Any sudden steering movements, braking, or acceleration movements causes a lot of the incidents that we're seeing to where people are losing traction and going off the roadway. And the other that we always encourage is to make sure that you're always wearing your seatbelt and have a fully charged phone with you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Hampton, and be safe out there this morning.
Thank you.
And Denison and Sherman police make a dent in the drug trade. It started with a traffic stop last Thursday. Police say Terrence Lee was found with cocaine and marijuana. This led to a legal search of Lee's apartment. Along with U.S. Marshals, police found around $25,000 worth of drugs and $40,000 in cash. An accused bank robber on the run from Arizona sits in an Oklahoma jail. K10's Jackson Boland has more on the arrest in Marshall County.
Around 10 o'clock Monday night, Medill police officers were able to catch an Arizona fugitive. 57-year-old David Banks is accused of robbing a bank in Arizona on January 27th and was trying to make his way to Oklahoma City. However, an off-duty officer was in the right place at the right time.
We had an off-duty officer that happened to be in the southern part of the county that heard the dispatch come across the radio, actually saw the vehicle pass by him.
Officers stopped Banks near the intersection of 12th and 377 as Banks was entering Medill and found evidence of his alleged robbery in his car.
He did have a large sum of money on his person. There was a BB gun that resembled a small automatic handgun.
Banks has no charges against him in Marshall County, but could face charges of robbery and third-degree burglary once he's back in Arizona.
More than likely, the district attorney's office will file a fugitive from justice charge against him, which will allow the two states to get a mandatory warrant for his return on extradition to the state of Arizona.
The Medill Police Department worked with the U.S. Marshals to help bring Banks in, and it's cases like these that show just how well different departments can work together.
Mostly on fugitives, running, from the law, and this just happened to be one that all the pieces fell into place.
In Medill, Jackson Boland, K10 News.
There's been an arrest in connection with the shootings that claimed 2 lives at A&M Commerce Monday. The suspected gunman, 21-year-old Hakeez Deshaun Smith. Smith believed to be the ex-boyfriend of one of the victims and is not a student at the school. Time now is 6:38. Still ahead, the hometown of Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes is showing their support for the Chiefs' Super Bowl win. Plus, Atlanta has your full winter weather forecast when we come back.
And welcome back, Texoma. Still tracking that winter storm across the region, dealing with a lot of rain, but we're already starting to see some of those conditions transition to some sleet. Before we get to that, we're going to send it to Amber, who's tracking conditions in Grayson County.
And we're live outside of our K10 studio and not really seeing much rain, maybe just a few drops, some sprinkles. Still none of that wintry mix, no sleet, no snow here locally. Again, those roads are still wet, so still need to be careful if you're out and about. Again, slippery roads, if you're heading out and about. Again, no ice as of yet. Temperatures still a little above freezing, but definitely still cold. Wind chills in the 20s, so definitely need to grab the jackets if you're heading out to work or to school. Again, we're continuing to monitor those chances for sleet and snow transitions later this morning into this afternoon. We're going to continue to update you guys again throughout the rest of today. Live in Denison, K10 meteorologist Amber Nowoski.
And thank you, Amber. Now, Jackson tells us earlier that we're starting to see some of that transition to a little bit of a sleet mix across the Ardmore and Carter County region. I'll send it to you, Jackson. What are the updates on what's going on the ground there?
Yeah, Atlanta, we are still starting to see that sleet and winter mix. It's becoming that almost exclusively here in Ardmore. There are some breaks every couple minutes or so where it does just turn back into that normal rain, but the sleet is becoming more and more apparent here in Ardmore and across Carter County. We are starting to see some ice and slush start to accumulate, making it a lot more hazardous for drivers out there. So if you absolutely have to be out on the road this morning, please take it slow and be cautious. I would advise, however, trying to stay home for as long as you can. while this weather starts to warm up eventually. If you do have to be out and about, please stay safe and be cautious. I'll be keeping you updated on the road conditions and the conditions as a whole here in Ardmore and throughout Carter County. Live in Ardmore, Jackson Boland, K10 News.
Thank you, Jackson. Well, we still have those winter storm warnings in effect until 6 p.m. So be prepared for rapid changes throughout the rest of the morning. We'll be tracking that freeze line. Regardless of where you are, it's chilly this morning. So a cold rain will transition to a rain sleet mix and then eventually snow across Texoma. Our snowfall accumulations have slowed down a little bit. I'll have more details in my full forecast on that. We'll send you to break. We'll be back after the break.
One East Texas town looks like it belongs in the middle of Kansas City. That's because White House, Texas is home for Chiefs quarterback and MVP Patrick Mahomes. Blake Holland has the story.
It was awesome.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking.
Start up a conversation with just about anyone in White House today, and it quickly became about this guy.
It has been Mahomes mania.
And that may even be an understatement.
I knew he was going to pull it off, We were hoping he was, and he did. He did an awesome job.
Super Bowl.
On the list of things to do at this White House flower shop, changing this window painting from all the way to the Super Bowl to Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I made my own templates and blow them up and then, get it to fit.
And not far from the window, there is this display, paying tribute to the boy this town used to watch on Friday nights.
We call him our hometown hero. He was born and raised here. This is his roots.
Down at the White House Chamber of Commerce, there is no shortage of love for number 15.
It means a lot. We've all supported him. We've decorated our town, and we've been cheering him on the whole time. And it's so amazing. His family is still here, so we have a lot of his heart here, even though he's not physically here. Watching him, it's just such a joy. Not because it's just Patrick, but to see how far he went.
And now it's not just about how far he went, but how far he will go.
More Super Bowl rings in the future?
Yes.
People from White House used to watch Mahomes play high school football for less than $10 a ticket. Time now is 6:47. Still ahead, we've got a check of your forecast and what to expect for this winter storm. We'll be right back.
And good morning to you, Texoma. If you've been tuning in all morning, we've been tracking this winter storm advisories and warnings across Texoma. Now our concern has begun to shift as we head towards the rest of your early morning hours. Snowfall totals have backed off a little bit, and ice is becoming our major concern as we head towards those morning hours. Right now, here's what it's looking like outside at our Sherman Chevrolet and Cadillac Tower Cam. Surface temperatures above freezing still. Feels much colder than that, but that actual temperature above freezing means that we won't be seeing icing just yet, but that can still change as we head towards the rest of the day. On our radar right now, you can see the majority of that snow is west of Texoma. So if that had just moved a couple miles eastbound, we would be seeing those snowfall accumulations like Wichita Falls through the Oklahoma City area. They've seen in excess of 4 inches, and that's what we had anticipated for here. But since that freezing line is far enough west, we're just looking at rain and a rain sleet mix across Texoma. So just dealing with rain for most of us, but Ardmore through Ada starting to see some messier conditions on the road early this morning. Again, our freezing line is right on the cusp of Ardmore this morning, as well as Sulphur Davis. So Pauls Valley, Ada, as well as Atoka, you have the higher chances to see some snowfall this morning. But most of us, our concern will be icing over those bridges and overpasses. Visibility has dropped for Pauls Valley. We haven't had any reports yet, any ground confirmation of snowfall in Pauls Valley. So if you live in Pauls Valley, let us know. Send us your photos so that we can get an update of what's going on the ground. Radar can only show us so much, so we need your reports. If you send them in, we'd greatly appreciate that. The rest of the morning, we're looking at snow slowing down a little bit because it's mostly west of us, but we do still have chances. If you haven't seen snow just yet, don't give up. We still have some more chances for that across Texoma. Here's what it's looking like. It continues to move off to the northeast. Then come 1, 2 in the afternoon, we start to see another band move through. So it's not just going to be this morning that event moves through. It's going to be evolving throughout the rest of the day, and we'll have to watch temperatures with more model updates. We have more confidence of exactly the timeline of that. Our winter storm for today's forecast, our warnings remain in place for western Texoma. Our advisories remain in place for central Texoma. And here's what we're looking at. Ice, a bigger concern this morning. We're likely to see a glaze just east of 35, and we could see some accumulations along and west of 35. And this is where things have really changed. Our snowfall forecast has slowed down a lot because of how much rain we've been seeing. We're likely only to accumulate at this point 2 inches, but anything more than a trace can make conditions very slippery on the roads. Your 7-day forecast sponsored by Baylor Scott & White Surgical Hospital at Sherman. Once we get through today, tomorrow morning, frigid cold, feeling like the teens with those wind chills for your Thursday morning. And then as we head towards Friday morning, also another concern, we could see some black ice forming. And then by the weekend, we're up to near 60 as we get towards Sunday's forecast.
Senators are expected to cast their votes today on whether to convict or acquit President Donald Trump. Senators heard closing arguments from both sides on Monday. Then several senators made speeches to announce their stance for or against the articles of impeachment. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski said she would vote to acquit President Trump despite calling his behavior shameful and wrong. The impeachment trial will resume at 4 p.m. Eastern today. Valentine's Day is a little over a week away, and Wallet Hub is out with its annual Valentine's Day spending survey. Americans are forecast to spend $27.4 billion on their sweethearts this year. That works out to about $196.31 per person celebrating. Men will spend nearly 3 times as much as women on average for Valentine's Day 2020. Americans will spend big on jewelry, flowers, and candy. And it looks like a lot of stuff going on this morning. Alana has been tracking this winter weather all morning. I'm going to toss it over to her.
Thank you, Carly. And Amber is in as well. We're also tracking this system across Texoma. What we're looking at on our Max HD radar, still a whole lot of a mess across I-35 right now. Dealing with a lot of rain, a lot longer than anticipated. So our snowfall forecast has changed, and it's going to continue to change throughout the rest of the day. Snowband is mainly west of 35 this morning. Already starting to see some issues near Ardmore as that transitions into a rain-snow mix. If it's raining where you are and temperatures are below freezing, you'll have to watch out for freezing rain and slick surfaces if you have to be out on the roads today. Mostly rain across Texoma. The system continues to move off to the northeast the rest of the morning. We'll continue tracking this throughout the morning on the Today Show. So if you keep tuning in, we'll keep bringing you live updates with that as well. Again, our high-res models keep a lot of the snow to the west of us. We've seen reports just west of 35, upwards to 4 inches towards Oklahoma City this morning. So seeing a lot of that mainly west of us and a lot of rain across Texoma. And as we move ahead to the rest of the day, you can see our extended forecast brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Surgical Hospital at Sherman. Temperatures will just hover that freezing mark the rest of the day, so it'll be a little bit of a wintry weather mess. You'll just have to keep tuning in and have our K10 weather app downloaded on your phone.
Yeah, definitely download the app. We also have a lot of school closings.
Yes.
I think you said over 50. So.
Over 50 closings. Go to k10.com/closings for the latest.
Today is Thursday, May 9th. Straight ahead, tensions are running high between the U.S. and Iran, the latest on a new deployment to the Middle East. Plus, an unlikely firearms bust in a pricey Los Angeles neighborhood. Authorities confiscated over 1,000 guns. And Ezekiel Elliott turned guardian angel to a family that lost their son to gun violence. Details of his great act of kindness. Hello, I'm Carly Banks.
And I'm Alana Cameron.
Thanks for joining us for Good Morning Texoma at 6. Well, looks like today's forecast is a little better. Looks like we won't need our rain boots and all that stuff.
Yes, you won't need them, but maybe a jacket this morning because it is going to be on the cool side. Here's a live look outside at our Sherman Chevrolet in Cadillac Tower Cam. So what to expect? Well, lots of fog on the horizon across all of Texoma this morning. We have advisories for our North Texas counties, but all of us could be seeing some patchy fog, especially with clear skies, calm winds, and lots of surface moisture to work with. Dense fog advisory will remain in effect until 10 this morning. We'll be monitoring that closely throughout the rest of the morning show. We're down to 0 mile visibility for Paris, Idabel, 1 mile for Gainesville, 1 mile for Durant. So take it slow on the roads this morning. More details on your weekend weather in my full forecast.
A major bust in a ritzy Los Angeles neighborhood. The LAPD arrested a man Wednesday accused of selling firearms illegally. John Lawrence reports.
A makeshift armory uncovered in Los Angeles.
Pistols, rifles, shotguns, assault weapons, all types of calibers, all types of makes, all types of models.
More than 1,000 weapons found inside a house in the ritzy Holmby Hills area.
Because I've never seen so many weapons in my career of 31 years. such a big arsenal like this in the residence in this type of neighborhood is kind of astounding.
A spokeswoman for the ATF says authorities received an anonymous tip about a person selling firearms illegally. Tools and equipment to manufacture firearms were also found inside the residence.
Ammunition was piled up in several parts of the rooms. Weapons were laid out on the floor.
The LAPD arrested one man Wednesday accused of violating California Penal Code 30600, which forbids the making and selling of assault rifles.
This neighborhood is very clear of these weapons that could have ended up in the wrong hands.
The investigation into this matter is underway and is expected to be lengthy.
They're going to run every serial number and find out the history of each weapon. So that's going to take a tedious amount of time.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
4 years ago, the LAPD had a similar situation where 1,200 guns, 7 tons of ammo, and more than $200,000 in cash was found inside a home. Vice President Mike Pence heads to Minnesota this morning. The vice president will visit R&J Farms in Glendon for a tour before meeting with farmers. Mr. Pence will discuss the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. He'll then head to St. Paul to visit Gerardo Amersteel, where he is scheduled to speak with employees this afternoon. More alleged victims of sexual misconduct have come forward in the case against a former men's health physician at the University of Southern California. 18 additional current and former students, all male, are joining the lawsuit against Dennis Kelly. The suit's allegations include sexual battery, gender violence, sexual harassment, negligence, and fraud. A press conference is scheduled for today to announce the latest defendants. The two men plan to share their stories of alleged sexual misconduct publicly for the first time at that conference. The United States has deployed an aircraft carrier group and bombers to the Middle East amid increased tensions with Iran. The USS Abraham Lincoln has been dispatched to the Persian Gulf over what Washington has described as a new threat from the Islamic Republic. Iran threatened to enrich its uranium stockpile closer to weapons grade levels in 60 days if world powers fail to negotiate new terms for the 2015 nuclear deal. It follows the Trump administration's maximum pressure campaign of diplomatic and economic measures that have enacted a punishing toll on Iran. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott will pay for the funeral of a teenage football player who died in a shooting last weekend. Jalen McKenzie was hit by a stray bullet after an 8th grade dance in Belleville, Illinois Saturday night. The 14-year-old was building a reputation for himself as a star football player. Wednesday evening on Twitter, the Dallas Cowboy announced that Elliott would pay for Jalen's funeral expenses. Jalen's father says the support coming in has made a big difference.
The support that we've been getting makes it a little bit easier. I didn't know my son touched this many people. Wow.
Jalen's family is currently making funeral arrangements for their son. Former University of Oklahoma President David Boren has asked to personally address the university's regents about allegations of sexual misconduct against him. Boren's attorney said the former president wants to speak to regents about the obvious and provable falsities that need to be addressed. Weather radios are a common tool to have handy around these parts. Pontotoc County Emergency Management gave away free weather radios Tuesday morning. A grant allowed the county to give these 1,000 radios away. The radios were a hot commodity and were snatched up very quickly. Time now is 6:05. Still ahead, the last state champs in Oklahoma will be crowned this weekend. Brendan gets you set for the baseball state tournament later in sports. Plus, Atlanta has your full forecast when we come back.
Is brought to you by Lake Texoma Dental Care and Wellness in Denison, Texas.
Hello and good morning to you, Texoma. Our time now is 6:08 and we're starting off your Thursday morning with some fog across Texoma. Our Sherman Chevrolet and Cadillac Tower Cam, well, now it's not black, it's now blue on our Tower Cam outside. Our sunrise is around 6:30. You won't be seeing much of a sunrise across the region. Cloudy skies are expected throughout most of your Thursday. Our temperatures down to the 60s to start off your early morning forecast, but the main factor will be having to watch out for some of that fog. We're looking at pretty poor visibility all along along the Red River, especially these areas that stayed oversaturated and held on to a lot of that rain well into those evening hours. Most of our northwestern Texoma counties didn't see as much rain in the afternoon, so not as much moisture for that fog. But all along the Red River, we're dropping to 0 miles for Paris. So if your early morning commute, you'll want to take it slow. Maybe give yourself some extra time to get to work this morning or to school as well. That advisory is in effect for all of our North Texas counties. You can see some flood warnings in effect for the Blue River, as well as areas that clear Boggy Creek in towards the Atoka region. But what we're looking at in terms of the rest of your day, so when you head to the bus stop, be slow. Whether you're a kid running across the street to catch your bus or you're a car driving on the street, it's hard to see each other, so take it slow. Make sure that you're turning on those headlights this morning. We're up to 62 as you head off to school. Really not much of a warm up this afternoon. In fact, we'll be cooling down by the afternoon hours. We'll get up to 68 when you're heading home, and then that will just continue to cool off. By Friday morning, we're looking at temperatures as cool as the 40s. So a cool start to our day. You can see some of those remnant rain showers off and towards the western Oklahoma region. Likely won't be moving into Texoma, but we could see a few stray showers here or there popping up throughout the afternoon hours. Temperatures currently in the 50s to start off your Thursday. Bit of a temperature change from yesterday. We'll continue to see anywhere between a 10 to 15 degree decrease. And for the next 7 days, 60s in our forecast for the next couple. By Sunday, then we'll clear out. Saturday, we're monitoring some chances for thunderstorms. This point, it looks pretty sub-severe, just rumbles of thunder throughout your Saturday.
Yeah, and it looks like once we get past the Saturday storms, then Sunday looks really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, Elena. Time now is 6:10. Still ahead, we give a rundown of today's entertainment news in Hollywood. That's next, right after the break. Movies, music, pop culture, video games. David Daniel has it all in today's Hollywood Minute.
Justin Timberlake, Hall of Famer. Next month, the singer and performer is set to receive the Contemporary Icon Award from the Songwriters Hall of Fame. The honor goes to a songwriter and artist who has attained an iconic status in pop culture. Timberlake has co-written all of his solo hits, as well as hits for NSYNC. Megabucks for memorabilia. Several items at the Van Eaton Gallery's pop culture auction went for far more than expected. Walt Disney's personal Nautilus model, used for presentations on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, went for nearly $37,000. Drew Struzan's Back to the Future Part 3 original painting sold for more than $80,000. And this Murder by Death poster artwork by Addams Family creator Charles Addams fetched more than $86,000.
What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
Keanu Reeves blasts away in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum and in the upcoming video game John Wick Hex. Yes, the action franchise is spawning a game in which you can fill the shoes and fire the guns of the deadly assassin. The game is being developed for consoles and PC. No word on a release date. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Time now is 6:15. Still ahead, we've got a quick check of the forecast right after the break. Stay with us.
Good morning to you, Texoma. Our time now is 6:17, and we're starting off your Thursday. Did I say Tuesday? Thursday morning. We're starting off your Thursday morning with some foggy conditions across the region. You can really not see much outside, so you'll have to take it slow on the roads. Foggy conditions will linger around all the way towards your mid-morning forecast. Advisory is in effect until 10. So we're at 62 degrees. Winds are calm. Surface is pretty wet, so it does look like we'll still have the recipe for fog well into the morning hours. Visibility dropping for all of our areas along the Red River, 3 miles in Atoka, down to 0 mile visibility in Idabel, Paris, Sherman Denison, 2, a mile in Durant, as well as Gainesville. So anywhere between 2 and below along the Red River. So we'll have to monitor that advisory across the region until 10. It could expand into some of our southern Oklahoma counties, likely not, but still fog can form even if you're not under that watch and warning. You can see all of our North Texas counties under that dense fog advisory. We also have some flash flood warnings or flood warnings across the region. So this is Clear Boggy Creek in Atoka County, as well as the Blue River and Bryan Bryan County. A lot of those waterways are really above that peak above crest, so that'll be an issue for us. Our rain chances are pretty low for this afternoon, but it doesn't look like much improvements in terms of drying us out today. We likely won't be drying out until Sunday because we do have some rain chances for your Saturday weather. So off to the bus stop in the 60s to start you off. Heading home from school, we'll be at 68. Some of that fog will clear by the afternoon, and then temperatures will cool with the cold front moving through. Some rain chances left over to the west of us. Will not likely be moving into Texoma, but we'll still carry a low rain chance for some pop-up showers and cloudy skies. It'll be a pretty cloudy, kind of gloomy day with temperatures in the 60s all day long, but our rain chances are pretty low. But can't rule out the chance for a stray shower or two. We're in the 50s and 60s to start you off. A 5 to 10 degree drop from this time yesterday. By the afternoon, we'll just keep dropping those temperatures. And then the next 7 days, if you had outdoor plans for your Saturday, you'll have to monitor that forecast. We have decent chances for thunderstorms Saturday throughout the day, up to 70% chance that we see some of that.
Yeah, it seems like Saturday might be a day to just stay inside, maybe watch a movie or something.
The good news is it's not a washout. So.
All right, thanks, Elena. Time now is 6:19. Sports is coming up right after the break.
Freezing rain, sleet, flood watches, and embarrassment of riches when it comes to moisture across Texoma. It's causing its share of problems, too. K10 News at 5 starts right now. Good Wednesday, everybody. Halfway through our work week. Hope you are somewhere high, dry, and warm this afternoon. I'm Bob Burkeen. Everybody's talking our weather. That is where we begin. Lisanne Anderson joins us from Ardmore, heading our team coverage this afternoon, talking everything from roads to power lines and just plain cold. Lisanne.
Well, about everybody knows that I live around the Ardmore area, and so when this stuff started falling today, I said, hey, I'll do the live shots. I'll stand out in the cold. I'll freeze. Not a smart move. However, we are out here. It is cold out here, and if nothing else, the frigid temperatures are downright dangerous. We've been out and about. McKenna Eubank and I have been across the area today checking out the roads, the power lines, and whatnot. I want to first of all roll some video that we shot just about an hour ago, and I can't see what you're seeing. However, I know that on Commerce it was flooded a little while ago. It looked like little icebergs floating there in the street as things were breaking up. Power lines, we're hearing down power lines. We're hearing arcing power lines. So folks, you need to be careful. Even if you're at home, make sure all of your devices, your phones, iPads are all charged up, just in case you do have a power issue. We're going to talk about more of that later in the newscast. But here's what some of the drivers had to say.
Only time I run on ice if I get caught in it. Otherwise, I'm not going to run on it. I've been driving for 38 years. Nobody's got experience on ice.
That is the truth. In fact, truckers and everyone traveling down I-35 throughout the day, especially through the Arbuckles, multiple accidents that we've heard about, just a dangerous, slippery situation across the area. I did a Facebook Live earlier. You can see that on our K10 page that showed how deep the ice was. Right now, it's still spitting a little bit here in Ardmore, not coming down like it was, so maybe the precipitation's starting to wrap up just a little bit. McKenna's going to join me now with more on what you saw today.
Yes, absolutely. So we woke up here in Ardmore to a slight glaze on the roads, nothing too bad, but then around noon today, just started falling, and it hasn't stopped falling since. I think we're all really hoping for an end to this stuff so that we can get back to that spring-like weather. Let's turn it over to Alan in the Weather Center and see if we might get that sometime soon.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. As we check out radar for you, HD radar again, you're right. Out on I-35, precipitation is beginning to wind down. Now, the yellow shading you see there, that's pockets of sleet. And, of course, a burst of sleet can mess up the roads in a hurry. While in areas generally east of 69-75, we continue with some pockets of heavier rainfall. The heavy rainfall that is in progress will clear out this evening, so that will lessen the accumulation of ice on the elevated surfaces like trees and as well as power lines, which is good news, but we'll be left with pockets of freezing drizzle overnight, and that'll put a glaze on the roadways that don't have much yet. Now, of course, out on I-35 through the Arbuckles and Ardmore area down toward Marietta, Thackerville, and further north, Murray County, many of the roads are treacherous almost, so it's been fairly significant there all day out to the west. But while most of us haven't experienced too many issues as far as roads go to the east of that, that'll be changing tonight. Again, travel will worsen across the region later this evening. With that in mind, then, a winter weather advisory has been issued generally for along and west of the 69-75 corridor. Again, freezing drizzle and pockets of sleet will cause many roads, not just the elevated roads, but many roads to become slick and hazardous overnight and into tomorrow morning. By 9-10 o'clock, though, we'll start to rise above freezing. Bob?
So far, 6 area school districts in Oklahoma decide to close tomorrow. The list includes Springer, Thackerville, Mill Creek, Turner, Maysville, and Stratford. Also, Grayson College canceled all evening classes tonight. But as the evening wears on, the list is sure to grow. Be sure to visit our website, k10.com. Check it out often because we'll be updating through the night. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. A towering figure in the world of Christian evangelism has died. The Reverend Billy Graham passed away this morning at his home in the North Carolina mountains at the age of 99. NBC's Chris Clackham has more on Dr. Graham's life and the way the country is mourning his death.
A hearse leaves Billy Graham's home in Montreat, North Carolina. The evangelist, considered one of the 20th century's most influential Christian leaders and the man known as America's pastor, died there Wednesday morning of natural causes at 99 years old.
The primary thing is the gospel of Christ.
In addition to the well-known counsel he offered to presidents through Obama, Graham's being remembered mostly for his 6 decades on the road preaching at his famous Billy Graham crusades.
An inspiration has left this earth, but it always will be with us.
Now, Jesus was a man.
Crowds into the tens of thousands would come to listen to him preach more about God's love.
Christ belongs to all people.
Than God's judgment.
I said, "Oh Lord, I'm a sinner. I still need your forgiveness."
President Trump tweeted this morning, "The great Billy Graham is dead. He will be missed by Christians and all religions. A very special man."
Jesus said you have to become as a little child.
Billy Graham was a monumental person to a lot of people.
Graham once said, "Someday you will read or hear that Billy Graham is dead. Don't you believe a word of it. I shall be more alive than I am now. I will just have changed my address." Following the funeral, Graham will be buried here at the Billy Graham Museum and Library next to his wife, Ruth, who passed away in 2007. In Charlotte, North Carolina, Chris Clackham, NBC News.
A new road in Sherman officially opened today. The new stretch of pavement by the future Pecan Grove Park Sports Complex. Canyon Creek Road is going to connect this area of Sherman off Farm to Market Road 1417 to Highway 82. The Parks Department says the new road will help with traffic congestion during Sherman events when thousands of people could be in that park.
We look at this growth and are always looking at, they're building 600 houses here. That means we need a new park in that area, or we need to upgrade the park that's currently in that area to suit the needs of those citizens.
Construction on that new park will begin at the end of this year. Van Alstyne's Thin Blue Line, not quite as thin this evening. A new officer was added to the force. His mission, to serve students. The new addition will patrol Van Alstyne school campuses. Chief Tim Barnes tells us the decision was in the works for a while and not a response to the Florida shooting. The officer is going to be 100% funded by the city. Grayson County Sheriff teaching kids to watch their back when it comes to hidden drugs and alcohol. The Sheriff's Office is going to host a Watch Your Back class taught by A&M AgriLife Extension agents. The class is open to parents and caregivers, teachers, counselors, and general public. The class will review recent trends for use and abuse of alcohol.
It's good to be aware of the signs and be prepared for what to do or how to take care of a situation once it arises.
That class is set for 6 to 7 Thursday evening in the Dillingham Intermediate School cafeteria. Straight ahead, Team USA proving they're not done yet with those 2018 Winter Olympic Games. We'll run the latest medal count for our athletes. And a big name in home appliances has a recall. We'll tell you what's wrong with these KitchenAid kettles and what to do if you have one. Chief Meteorologist Alan Mitchell will let us know what to expect for the rest of the week when it comes to all this rain and when we'll be able to drip dry. You're watching K10 News at 5. Another down day on Wall Street today. The Dow took an almost 167-point hit. The Nasdaq fell 16 points. The Standard & Poor's down almost 15. Welcome back, everybody. The U.S. just had the largest medal haul since these Winter Olympics began. 4 medals in one day. Our medal count stands now at 16 with just 4 more days of competition. NBC's Gina Kim, joins us live with the latest.
Medal number 1 of the day came from Lindsey Vonn, who skied her way to bronze in her final alpine downhill.
I gave it everything I had. I've worked so hard, especially, the last 8 years.
Medals 2, 3, and 4 all came at once. Bronze in the women's long track team pursuit.
It's going to be close. Cross the line. U.S. wins.
The first speed skating medal for U.S. ladies in 16 years.
She's nailed it.
Silver in women's bobsled, won by Ilana Myers-Taylor and Lauren Gibbs. And gold in women's cross-country skiing team sprint relay, the first cross-country medal for U.S. women in Olympic history.
I just wanted to lay down the absolute race in my life to make it possible.
In figure skating, the 3 American women struggled in the short program, ending in 9th, 10th, and 11th place, heading into Friday's free skate medal competition.
Final minute of overtime.
The U.S. men's ice hockey team got eliminated after a quarterfinal game against the Czech Republic that went into overtime and shootout rounds.
Jon Schuster makes his final play of ending.
And in curling, American men defeated Great Britain to advance to the semifinals. In Pyeongchang, Gina Kim, NBC News.
We have certainly made up some lost ground anyway when it comes to rainfall amounts, Alan, and there's concern on where these temperatures are headed overnight too and the danger of more icing on parts of Texoma.
Well, that's very true, Bob. Not all of our region, Texoma, will see temperatures below freezing. The best guess is kind of a general along and west of Highway 6975. So, I mean, southeastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, you stay above freezing, but again, at or slightly below that to the west, particularly out on I-35, upper 20s there from, say, Ardmore to Ada in the morning, about 28 degrees, while southeastern Oklahoma, you can be in the mid-30s. So, not everybody's going to have bad roads, but much of the region will certainly, and so advice is check the highway department websites before you got to head out to see what they have updated on there. Eldorado Chevrolet on McKinney Tower camera, that kind of tells the story. Most of the problems right here have been with elevated areas, tree limbs, power lines, things like that. With the heavier rainfall we've had here, you get just off the surface and temperatures below freezing, while it's been holding about freezing on the ground level right in this region. Western areas though of Texoma, as we can see, the pink shading there, slippery roads, slick conditions from Pontotoc County, Murray County, Sulphur Davis area down toward Ardmore, Marietta. Had bands of sleet go through much of this region earlier today, and that really messes up roads in a hurry. Again, with temperatures hovering at or slightly below freezing this afternoon. The good news is heavier precipitation now clearing from west to east, kind of ending. Now there'll be pockets or areas of light drizzle overnight once this heavier rainfall moves out, and that light drizzle will put a glaze, and so it may be hard to see if you're out traveling, a glaze on many roadways. So travel conditions will actually worsen over much of the area overnight tonight into Thursday morning before conditions begin to improve by mid-morning as temperatures get back up above freezing for us. There's basically an outline where travel conditions will be the most significant. Again, many roadways, although we haven't seen that in much of the region this afternoon, many roadways though will become quite slick overnight with that thin glaze of light icing. Rainfall amounts over the last couple of days, 2, 3, almost 4 inch amounts over much of the region, particularly in the southeastern Oklahoma. 4 plus to almost 5 inches there indicated. Current temperatures at this hour showing 30 in Ada, 31 Ardmore, 32 from Sherman and Denison, southeastern Oklahoma, mid-40s around McCurtain County with 31 McAllister to 36. That's basically outlines the freeze line, so that's not going to change much overnight. So west of this, issues, icing issues, roadways overnight. To the east, though, just wet roads for the most part. Here's our future sky forecast. By this evening, the heavier rainfall has moved out with pockets of freezing drizzle across the area. Even though we don't see anything indicated here, there'll be widespread light drizzle putting a glaze on things overnight. More rainfall then by noontime tomorrow moving in and through the afternoon, evening hours, and then that'll clear out. And then there'll be some additional rainfall, particularly across southern Oklahoma and North Texas on Friday. So we check out the next several days for you. A cold day tomorrow again at or slightly below freezing in the morning, and then that starts our trend upwards. Once we get past tomorrow morning, I don't think we have to worry with any more freezing temperatures, at least for the next several days. Sunday looks to be a very nice day for us. Time to recoup a little bit.
Boy, we've had some good rainfall amounts caught back up. That's the good news, too. Yeah. All right. Still to come, a popular kitchen gadget on the recall list. Why Whirlpool says stop using it now. And you think you had a tough time driving in the ice. We'll introduce you to an Oklahoma young lady who just couldn't catch a break, and darn those cameras, they're everywhere. Welcome back. Whirlpool recalling more than 40,000 KitchenAid electric kettles because of burn hazards. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the hand can loosen and separate from the kettle, causing spills and potential burns. The kettles were sold online and at stores, several retailers in fact, including Amazon, Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Kohl's. If you have one, stop using it immediately and get hold of Whirlpool for a free replacement. Another recall to report this afternoon involves the Stargaze recliner chairs from Nemo Equipment. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the straps on the chair seats can fail, posing a fall hazard. The recall involves the regular recliner as well as the low-end luxury options. The chairs sold from October to December of last year. Still to come, search crews braving the cold in Dallas. A mystery car swept down river from flash flooding. We'll take you there. Mom said, do your chores. Now one Oklahoma lady deserves her own Winter Olympic medal for surviving this ice. Ouch. We'll be right back. All that rain around the Dallas-Fort Worth area causing some serious flooding. Rescuers searched for possible survivors from a white car that was spotted floating in the Trinity River in Dallas this morning. A witness reported seeing a car drive into the water and get swept away, at last check, Dive teams also searching that water there in the Trinity. Let's go to Oklahoma City now. You could say this young lady on a mission to finish her chores, 11-year-old Alexis Johnson, bound and determined to get her chores done, no matter the weather there. This is from the home security cameras. The struggle was real. She tried to get a trash can up an icy driveway, but the freezing rain left an icy coating there for the young lady. After several minutes and after wiping out a few times, Alexis was able to complete her chores. By the way, no children were harmed in the making of this video. All right, before we go, let's check in one more time with Lisanne Anderson, who joins us in Ardmore, and a very icy Ardmore too, Lisanne.
Yeah, not one word about the outfit because it is so cold out here. This thing's not coming off. We're going to be live out here at 6 o'clock too, updating the road conditions and of course any closings, delays, and any power issues that may be popping up across the area. Not sure how much time I have here, guys, but I want to show you if I don't fall down. If I fall, this goes on the blooper reel. So this is, I'm on a short leash. Anyway, if you can pan down, McKenna, you can see the slush that's built up here. And that's just going to refreeze, folks. So if you don't have to be out in this, don't do it. And if you do, wear a really cool coat like this. Bob, aren't you missing this? You want to be out here.
Oh, don't I, though? I really do. I'm sure Alan would love to be out there, too. We have time to get one last look at Alan's forecast there when we come back. Alan's back to translate what all that green and pink and yellow mean out there on the map, my friend.
Yeah, let's check out radar for you once again. Precipitation ending, the heavier activity anyway, along I-35. And by, say, 7, 8 o'clock this evening, most of that will be gone. The problem is We'll be left with areas of light drizzle and, of course, with temperatures below freezing, mainly west of Highway 69 and 75. That'll put a glaze on most roadways, so travel conditions across the region will generally worsen overnight tonight into Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, though, with rain in the forecast, temperatures will get above freezing after about 9 o'clock in the morning and stay that way, it looks like, for the better part of the next several days. I think you're going to like Sunday and Monday.
We will love it. That's our time for now, everybody. We'll see you back here at 6. Have a good evening.
From the studios of K10 Television, this is K10 News at 6.
Right now on K10 News at 6.
We've said from the beginning growth is coming, it's here, and we are really excited to plan for it.
A booming economy has Sherman busting at the seams, including its schools. Now, how the district plans to use that new bond money to help with new growth.
So tonight we break down those numbers to show you exactly what it means for your pocketbook. Good evening, I'm Lisanne Anderson. Welcome to K10 News at 6.
Evening, everybody. I'm Bob Brickeen. Big news in October. We learned Finisar was taking over the MEMC building. Even bigger news in December with news Apple investing $390 million to Finisar to help manufacture its iPhone.
With that new business and money comes growth, and that is a continuing issue for Sherman ISD that they are addressing.
A Sherman Public Schools bond passed in November. Now the district is deciding their best financial route. K10's Carly Banks joins us from outside Finisar. Carly, how does the new company coming to town play into the district's decision?
Well, Finisar plays into the decision because it will bring over 500 jobs to the area. And with jobs brings families, which will then bring students into the already overcrowded school district. Favorable bond rates could let Sherman ISD decrease the approved tax rate.
So if we remain at the 20.9 cent, what that does is it allows us to prepay debt, to pay down that debt aggressively so that we have additional bonding capacity for the future, because as we look ahead, we know that growth is coming and even more growth on the horizon. So
a big part of that growth, Finisar. With elementary schools in Sherman already at capacity, the district may need to plan for a new one in the near future.
There's going to be an increased need for housing, and with an increased need for housing, you have children that come, and so there'll be an increased need for classroom seats.
A homeowner with a house valued at $100,000 will pay about $200 per year in taxes. If the district chooses to lower that rate, the same homeowner would save $10 a year.
The district has done a great job at strong financial management, and we are in a very strong financial position, and taxpayers can be very, very happy about that.
Park says keeping the approved rate will save taxpayers in the long run, and the district can pay off millions in debt quicker.
We are in a great, great position financially. We're saving money, and we're able to plan for new schools, for new kids, and it's a fantastic time to be a Bearcat.
The district says they will decide on those final tax rates by the summer, just in time for Finisar to start distributing those Vexels used for the iPhone 10. Reporting live in Sherman, Carly Banks, K10 News.
All right, Carly. 4 people dead after a shooting at a resort in Galveston, Texas. One hotel guest called police about gunshots on the 8th floor at the San Luis Resort early this morning. Inside, they found 4 people shot, a man and a boy pronounced dead, while a woman and another boy were in critical condition. Both were rushed to the hospital, but they later died.
The motive is unknown at this time, but forensic data collected at the scene indicates that the female is believed to be the shooter at this time, before apparently taking her own life with a 9mm handgun found adjacent to her body.
Police are calling the shooting a murder-suicide.
The town of Mansville, Oklahoma, having their first city council meeting since their treasurer was charged with embezzlement of more than $4,000 of state money.
K10's McKenna Eubank is live there now. McKenna?
That's right. The meeting is expected to start here in just a few minutes behind me at the City Hall here in Mansville. Now, the council is expected to go into executive session, which means the citizens and the press will not be allowed to hear what they're saying. But on tonight's agenda, it says council members will discuss whether or not they will terminate, suspend, promote, demote, or increase the salary of Treasurer Shonda Barnes and Fire Chief Derek Gray, which is also her nephew. Both employees were highlighted under the audit that was released in September, and Barnes was charged with embezzlement last week. We asked Gray what he expects in tonight's meeting.
She's innocent until proven guilty, but that's just my opinion, so I don't know,
A large number of citizens are also expected to come to the meeting tonight. Now, tonight on K10 News at 10, we'll have the results of that meeting for you, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. Live in Mansville, McKenna Eubank, K10 News.
New businesses headed to the Van Alstyne area. 4 new businesses expected in the next few months. Wolfpack Auction Services setting up shop at the northeast corner of Preston and Marshall. Napoli's Italian Restaurant in the early permit stage. That'll be located on Van Alstyne Parkway. And Garnished Nest will be at the corner of Main and Jefferson. And finally, a new restaurant will also be opening on Main Street. No exact word on when all of those will be completed.
The city of Sherman plans to get a new building for a fire station. At their Tuesday meeting, the board of Sherman's Economic Development Corporation will vote to give the city more than 7 acres of land for firehouse construction, a move that will help firefighters quickly answer that call for help.
City of Tom Bean looking to get better connected with the public. How? Well, our Emily Akins was there to find out today.
The Tom Bean Police Department is reaching out to the community in a unique way.
This is the emergency call box, or actually technically a non-emergency call box.
Chief Green got this idea online. He installed an old telephone box with a Ring video doorbell inside. These devices have become popular over the past couple of years. You can find them at any local big box store. He installed the device so residents of Tom Bean could get in contact with police when they have a question. A new resident of the city says this makes her feel safe.
It makes me feel like it's a safer place to live. It makes me feel like the police department's a lot more approachable than what they used to be, which is great.
All a citizen has to do is come to City Hall, walk inside, open this box right here. The chief will get a notification on his phone and will be able to help you with any of your requests. The police department funded the project, which only cost about $140 total.
To be able to provide a better service to the citizens of the community and to incorporate technology in a new way that would benefit everybody.
And even though the box wasn't initially intended for emergencies,
any emergencies, we can just go right up and be able to reach them immediately. So I like all of the things that they're doing to be more progressive, so that's great.
Reporting in Tom Bean, Emily Akins, K10 News.
That call box will be open to the public Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30.
A new burger venue opening in Denison on Tuesday. Freddy's has been in construction since August. Well known for their steak burgers and frozen custard, the restaurant chain boasts everything is made to order. Freddy's hours are set to be Monday through Thursday, 10:30 in the morning to 10 at night. And on Fridays and Saturdays, they're open until 11 in the evening.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Straight ahead on K10 News at 6, one Texoma City set to make it easier to build on certain tracts of land. We'll learn how long this process of rewriting city code is going to take.
And a longtime newspaper, now the future unknown after the owner passes away. What the new owner says she would like to see happen.
You're watching K10 News at 6 with Lisanne Anderson, Bob Brackeen, Dan Lindblad with sports, and meteorologist Alan Mitchell with the weather.
Welcome back, everybody. City of Ardmore getting help rewriting their development code.
K10's Colton Thompson live in our Ardmore studio with what this exactly means. Colton.
That's right. The city's Board of Commissioners approved to hire an outside firm to help revise the code, which will make it easier for vacant lots to be developed. The City of Ardmore says an update to its development code has been a long time coming.
Our codes are really old. The last big revision we had was in 1998.
With the old code, it has been impossible to build on smaller vacant lots in some of the older neighborhoods, according to the city. To solve the problem, Chicago-based firm Housel Levine was hired to rewrite the code so smaller houses can be built. Development Services Director Jessica Scott says filling those lots can bring a much better look to a neighborhood.
You have that missing tooth, it's not that cute. But once you put a house there, you got that complete smile, and it rebuilds neighborhoods. And so we're really excited for that.
According to Assistant City Manager Kevin Boatwright, this should not only help a new homeowner, but existing ones as well.
Most people know that their property values would be better if there's a nice home there versus just having a vacant lot next to their house.
Scott says they're now excited to bring the code into the 21st century.
Times have changed, and we need to just change with it. We want Ardmore to be better, and in order to get there, we need the tools to get there.
Scott says updating the code will take up to 18 months. Live in the Ardmore studio, Colton Thompson, K10 News.
So folks in Johnston County still waiting to hear the fate of their newspaper. It's after the death of their owner and publisher. There was no future plan made for the newspaper. One of the writers, John Small, wrote if the paper was not sold, the entire staff would resign. The widow of the former publisher tells K10 she has not made any decisions because she wants to sell the paper to the right buyer.
Golly, it was nice to see more sunshine and blue skies today, and a mild start to our work week.
Just as I get a little bit of spring fever, I'm driving over the Roosevelt Bridge coming to work,
Yeah.
the lake out there, it's
Oh, you're like,
calm
oh, it's going
and
to be
pretty,
great.
and I'm
Great to
thinking,
live here.
Bring on spring.
Yeah.
And then here comes Alan.
He lowers the boom on you, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a nice afternoon. Some welcome rain yesterday, some sunshine, and temperatures even above normal today. And enjoy because it will be changing in a few days. I'll have the numbers for you in just a moment. El Dorado Chevrolet on McKinney Tower camera, fair skies, light winds this evening. Pretty gusty earlier in the day, causing some fire problem issues. But a check of satellite radar again, generally fair skies, and nothing showing up on radar at this hour. 30 degrees in the morning, some patchy fog across the region, particularly areas east of Highway 69-75, a little better chance of that, but mostly sunny skies, and then into the upper 50s again for Tuesday afternoon. The winds won't be too strong either. We were 58 today, typically about 51 would be our normal high. Records though are 7 and 73. Some rainfall amounts for Sunday, about 1/4 of an inch or a little bit less over western parts of our Texoma region, while in southeastern Oklahoma a little bit more, topping out at a little more than a 1/2 inch from Broken Bow, Idabel, Paris, Hugo area, close to a 1/2 around McAllister and Clayton and Antlers, and as well as Atoka and Colgate. And so at welcome rainfall there. Now, as far as temperatures go right now, we're seeing 54 from the Ada vicinity to 56 in Ardmore, Sherman, and Denison, and into southeastern Oklahoma, lower to mid-50s to be found at this hour too. A little bit cooler around Oak City and up to the north, a little bit warmer down south around Dallas, so no major drastic changes across the region today. That will be changing though by, say, Thursday. When we get up Thursday morning, temperatures generally in the 40s, but will then fall into the 30s during the afternoon as a cold front moves in. Even the potential Thursday afternoon for a while of seeing some light flurries, a little bit of light snowfall across the area. One of the biggest things you'll notice though will be gusty north winds around 30 miles an hour, and temperatures again falling into the 30s during the afternoon time frame. So highs on Thursday will be in the morning and then fall in the afternoon, with wind chill values probably dropping into the teens on Thursday afternoon. So a little bit of a change coming up, but nice day tomorrow. Again on Wednesday we'll go 60s, and I know this, if you're just looking at the graphic, this looks backwards or odd, but what I'm talking about here is around 45 Thursday morning, then falling into the 30s during the afternoon hours. From north to south, of course, temperatures will vary a lot because as the front passes through, say, northern parts of Texoma, your temperatures will start to drop earlier than down on the Red River. So a very cold day any way you look at it. And one thing that could happen on Monday, if it's raining during the morning hours with temperatures well below freezing, we could wind up with a little bit of icing. Not a sure thing, but just want to kind of run the flag up on that just in case.
Boy, if you got plans for MLK Day, outside activities, maybe get another plane.
Yeah, I would, yes.
Boy, it looks nasty. All right, buddy. Still to come on K10 News at 6. This is never going to end, is it? More cars named to that massive airbag recall. What the manufacturer says can happen if those things deploy.
Plus, gas prices steadily going up. The cause behind the price hike. Next. Here we go again. Takata is recalling 3.3 million more airbags as it expands the largest automotive recall in U.S. history.
The Japanese airbag maker recalling frontal airbags in certain 09, 2010, 2013 cars by at least 15 automakers. I mean, the list is huge. Honda, Toyota, Audi, BMW, Daimler, Fiat, Chrysler, Ford, GM, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mazda, Mercedes-Benz, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Subaru, even Tesla. Specific models will be released later this month. Takata airbags can explode and hurl shrapnel. At least 20 people have died worldwide, more than 180 injured.
If you drive a vehicle, just
there
you go. Prices at the pump already going up. In 2018, the average price per gallon of regular unleaded jumped 3 cents the past 3 weeks. Now the national average here, $2.54. Analysts say higher crude costs are to blame. When it comes to diesel, the U.S. average is $2.94 a gallon. up 6 cents from 3 weeks ago.
Okay, if you got a man cave, you're going to want this. A new 65-inch television screen.
Hold on, Dan.
Rolls up like wrapping paper when you're not using it. The company, LG Display, showed off this thing at the Consumer Electronics Show earlier today in Las Vegas. You've probably seen screens that can bend. This is the first big screen TV that rolls up. But this OLED model is much larger. It rolls into a box for storage, maybe into a hidden compartment or ceiling, maybe a table display, guys. Now, LG sells to manufacturers, so you won't be seeing this for sale just yet, but give it time.
See, you're talking to the guys here, but the ladies like that when it comes to decorating.
Well, because it gets
okay,
out of the way.
You guys go watch whatever.
Yeah, well, for the
And
man
then
cave, you
wrap
could,
it up.
Yeah, it'd be great just to have it come out of the table like that. That would be great.
I
Speaking of big screen,
hate to be the Debbie Downer, though. Isn't that just like a glorified projector screen?
I don't know.
Much higher quality.
Yeah, you did kind of bring me down, kind of disappointed. Kind of burst our bubble there, Dan. Way
you
to
can
go.
watch that TV and watch
Look
the
at that.
games.
Yeah.
And we will watch to see what Mac Brown is in the news for. It's coming up after the break.
Now sports with Dan Lindblad.
Well, just as I know we were all hoping for, the college football season comes to an end tonight with an all-SEC conference game that will decide the national champion. Alabama and Georgia will meet for the first time this season in Atlanta. It's the third consecutive year the Tide will be in the title game, going 1-1 thus far, and the first appearance for the Dogs since 1980. It's only the second time there's been a single conference represented in the title game. LSU took on Alabama in the 2011 season, but we won't talk about who finished third that year. Neither team this year wants to be remembered as the runner-up.
I've talked a long time about this playoff being perspective. With what perspective do you take this game? And I think that's the one spot that Alabama had a competitive advantage because got a huge chip on their shoulder thanks to you guys and some of you guys saying that they shouldn't have been included. So they've got something to prove.
I hate to lose, and I've been around Kirby long enough, and he's been on my basketball team long enough that I know he hates to lose too. And I think that has something to do with it.
Nick Saban just brightens up the TV screen, doesn't he? A couple of former Texas college football coaches headlined the 2018 College Football Hall of Fame class. Mac Brown, the Longhorn legend who coached UT to the 2005 National Championship game, and former Austin College head coach Mel Churchma. Churchma, who also spent time at Northwest Missouri, he led the Roos to 3 Texas Intercollegiate Athletic Association titles, as well as trips to the NAIA Division II playoffs in '88 and 1990. The Kingston Redskins are coming off an 8-3 record in 2017, but now they will look for a new football coach. John Caraway told K10 on Friday that he was stepping down as the football coach for personal reasons and that the school planned to start the search for his replacement today. Caraway plans to stay with the school in an administrative role. He won 47 games in his 7 years as the head coach. It was a big day up in Ardmore as a former Tiger was celebrated. Kevon McGee, who signed to play at Kansas State next year, was celebrated and even got to speak to current Tiger players as he reflected on this accomplishment.
I want to thank my family, friends, and it was a long road. Now that I went through all the JUCO struggle and just paved the way, I feel great, feel good now just to be at this point, but now I got to go.
Get out and enjoy the sunshine.
Yes, indeed. It will be changing, as a matter of fact, and this could be a bit confusing on Thursday where you see the low in the morning 45 and then falling into the 30s. You know, it's not reversed. It's that a front is coming through and temperatures will be dropping in the afternoon, so it's warmer in the morning.
Oh, golly.
See you back at 10.